Hi, Patriots! How is everyone? Mrs. Hall, why don't we take off our masks so that everybody can hear us clearly?
Okay, and can see our smiling faces.
Hello, everyone. When we tell you how much we miss our Patriot children and our families, we would get emotional. It has been so long since we have seen our boys and girls. Today, we are coming together to give you some general information about what this school year will look like. Is it going to be different? Yes. Is it going to be great? Absolutely. It's all about engaging our students into asynchronous and synchronous learning. And we're going to go into some information about that to help you understand what all of that means. Okay? So we're going to start by having Mrs. Hall do an overview of our schedule. Mrs. Hall?
Yes. Okay, hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Hall. We missed you like Mrs. Butler said. So I'm just going to give you a brief explanation of the schedule, just an overview for you guys, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty later. But basically, our school day runs from 9 to 2, and every single day, students will be able to participate in a morning meeting. We are going to build a nice classroom community, build relationships with one another and the teachers through those morning meetings. Literacy block for all grades will occur in the morning. Some literacy blocks are big and all in one, and some literacy blocks for grade levels are chunked into smaller pieces. All grade levels are going to break for lunch around 11 o'clock to 11:45 to ensure there is time for lunch, movement with recess, things of that nature, and just get a chance to rejuvenate. After lunch, we will have math block, and students will be able to learn from their teachers in that way. And then finally, we will end the day with science and social studies. Students will also have specials, and they will have a specific schedule geared towards them, which they will receive at a later date. So that is a very general overview of the school day, and more information will come to you as we get closer to the start of school. Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. Moms and dads, as you know, I sent a Google form asking you to submit your questions related to this new way of learning. Okay, so you're going to hear us say things like synchronous and asynchronous. So what I want to do is just generally explain. Synchronous is days when you are in sync with your teacher. So that is when the children will have face-to-face time with a teacher. Totally different from last year. Last year, we did a lot of choice board activity because, as we know, last year was truly something that was unprecedented. We were not prepared for it. Our teachers went out on spring break and never returned. So we did not have a lot of time to prepare for your boys and girls, and we wanted to involve them in engaging lessons that focused on skills they already had to build upon. So no, we did not go into any new learning because we wanted this to be an opportunity for children to continue to engage in learning, but to learn things and to work within what they were already familiar with. We did not want it to be a stressful time for parents to have to take the time to reteach their students or to teach their students something they had not learned. So that is why we did choice board activities, things that students were familiar with, that they would find fun and engaging to keep them motivated about learning. This year will be totally different. So on our synchronous days, we will work with the teacher. The students will be able to log onto their computers, and they will have headphones, and they will get to have face-to-face time with their teachers. On asynchronous days, that is days that they will not have face-to-face time with their teacher. So on their asynchronous days, there will be activities and links for them to go to. But please keep in mind that some of this will be review in nature, and some of it will be grade level new curriculum, meeting the new standards. They will be easily accessed, a lot of videos, a lot of engaging activities that students will enjoy. And that will happen on their asynchronous days. Other things will happen on asynchronous days. For example, our students who receive gifted services will receive 45 minutes of gifted time with the gifted resource teacher on their asynchronous day. So one of their 2 asynchronous day, they will receive face-to-face time with the focused teacher. So that is generally what our schedule is going to look like. So now you have a clear understanding of the difference between synchronous and asynchronous.
Our synchronous instruction will be provided through the learning management system, or you'll hear some people say LMS, and that's Canvas. That's how we're going to deliver our instruction. And then our Google, we will not be using Google Classroom, but we will be using Google Meet. So that is how your student is going to participate in that face-to-face synchronous learning experience.
Okay. So now we're going to get into the meat of some of your questions, okay? So I'm going to ask Mrs. Hall some of the questions that you guys asked me, and then she in turn will ask me some of the questions that you submitted. So we will do our very best to respond to all of your questions. Please know that we are always available by email if something that we said today did not address all of your concerns, okay? So Mrs. Hall, at what time are students going to begin and end classes?
For Park Ridge Elementary School, we will begin school at 9 o'clock and school ends at 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Will the students be connected with their teacher every day?
Not every day. As you know, we've encouraged you to log in to Parent View to get whether your student is an A or a B student. So each student will have 2 days of that face-to-face synchronous learning, virtually of course. So if your student is an A student, they will have that face-to-face learning opportunity on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If you're a B student, you will participate in that virtual learning on on Thursdays and Fridays. Now that is for every week except for our first week of school. August 31st is A day. So Monday and Tuesday will be for our A learners, and Wednesday and Thursday will be for our B learners for that week only. No other adjustments will be made for holidays moving forward. Just the first week of school. So no, students will have 2 days of learning with their teacher synchronously and 2 days asynchronously.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Hall. How much screen time will be involved for a kindergarten student?
Yes, we know that this is a big concern, having students sit in front of the computer for a lengthy amount of time, and we all know that that is not the best case scenario. Our teachers are very educated on what is most developmentally appropriate for our students. So for a kindergartner, they're going to start each day with a morning meeting. And then they're going to move into a literacy block. The literacy block is a more lengthy amount of time to allow for direct instruction, practice, small group, and then just closure activity and summarization. Now, during that block, students will be given the opportunity to move away from the computer, practice some skills, come back, and then also have time for movement. We are aware that they cannot sit in front of the computer screen for lengthy amount of times, so our teachers are working very hard to make very engaging activities and also to give them times to get up and move around, maybe even something as simple as go get me something blue and tell me something about it, just to have kids up and moving and away from the screen a little bit.
Absolutely. And as you know, we are always about student engagement first. If our students are not engaged, then they're not accessing curriculum as effectively as they should be. So it's all about that student engagement. So we know that students need to be up. They're going to have movement breaks, just like in a regular kindergarten day. They're going to have songs and different things to say, to keep them engaged. So a teacher may say, okay, guys, we're going to do the alphabet song. Then everybody's going to jump up and they're going to do the alphabet song, just like we would see in a regular school day. Because developmentally, we know kindergartners and first graders have a more difficult time sitting still for long periods of time. So we will be keeping all of that in mind.
Yes, and for those questions that involve special education services of any kind, we're not going to address these here in this town hall meeting. What I encourage you to do is email me directly, and my email is hallaw@staffordschools.net. So that way I can handle those on a very individualized approach, so I can look at your student's IEP and know directly the information, so I'll have a more informed answer for you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall, for that information. Again, that is Hall, HALLAW @staffordschools.net. Thank you so much.
All right, are you ready, Ms.
I'm
Butler?
ready.
Okay, now Mrs. Butler has a lot more questions, so here we go. All right. Will there be technology assistance to help parents get through this time?
Absolutely. Parents, you may want to get a pen and paper to write down this information, okay? If you have problems with the device that your child will be issued, you can contact the technology help desk at helpdesk@staffordschools.net. Again, that is helpdesk@staffordschools.net. If you have problems with any instructional issues that maybe you feel the teacher wasn't adequately able to answer or things of that nature, we have an instructional help desk as well. And that is SDCPSIT@staffordschools.net. I will say that again. S like Sunday, D like David, C as in cat, P as in Paula, S like Sam, I like ice, and T like truck at staffordschools.net.
Very good. Thank you. What about those working parents who aren't available to help their child during the school day?
This is difficult because we know that parents have schedules and our parents have to work. A lot of our very own staff members are running into the same problem. So on synchronous days, students can access on any time, okay? At any time. Students can access on a Saturday. On those asynchronous days, they can access if they choose to. On synchronous days, that face-to-face time, lessons will be available in the evening for parent access. However, students will get the best benefit from the education by that teacher engagement. So hopefully your child care providers or family members who are helping to take care of your children in your absence will be able to assist the students with access during school hours. The students need to be as engaged as possible, so when they're with their teacher, they're going to get the best benefit. However, lessons will be available for parent convenience.
All right, so if I selected virtual learning now, can I change at any time, or do I have to wait until January?
Well, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I have to be honest with you. We will work with you to make adjustments on a case-by-case basis. Please understand that we may need time to work this out due to class assignments and transportation considerations. So if you are hybrid, you may not, if you have decided to go virtual the entire time, and then say in November, you say, no, I'm not really liking this. I want my child to go back to the hybrid model. If we switch to that, we will need to look at class sizes, and we will need to consider transportation and all of those things. So please email me at butlerks@staffordschools.net if that's something you want to do at a later time. And I will work with you to make sure that we do what's best for your child.
Let's say I have two children in two different grade levels. Will my children attend on the same days virtually, and if we move back into a hybrid model?
Absolutely. Siblings are on the same days, even siblings at other levels. So if you have a 4th grader, a 7th grader, and a 12th grader, they will all be learning on the same day. We have spent a lot of time in Stafford County making sure that that happens so that we can make sure that all of your children are transported to and from school on the same day when we go to hybrid. And also we know that accessing that learning on separate days would be really difficult. So all of your students in a family will go to school on the same day.
Okay, thank you. Will our students have the same teacher for the year, or will that change if there are any changes from virtual to hybrid to in-school experiences?
Okay. That's a really good question. Every child is assigned a teacher, and that teacher will remain for the school year. So if your child's teacher is Mr. Gribick, your child's teacher will be Mr. Gribick for virtual, and when we come back in hybrid, hopefully, your teacher will still be Mr. Gribick. So yes, you will keep the same teacher all year.
When are students returning to school, Mrs. Butler?
August 31st, and we cannot wait, begins the school year in a virtual capacity. Stafford County Public Schools will reassess on September 24th to determine if there will be any changes. So please stay tuned for changes. But the first day of school is August 31st. And I can't wait to see all those first day of school pictures. Because even though we're going virtually, it is still the first day of school. And we want that excitement like we see every year. Right. We can't wait to see your kids' faces on those screens.
Absolutely. What school supplies would you recommend for at-home learning?
Okay. Please visit our school website. We have attached at-home learning school supply. It is much more simple than we've done in the past. So whereas in the past we may have to ask for several composition notebooks, on most of our supply lists we may ask for one. There also will be materials provided to your students, such as math manipulatives and different things when you come to pick up your Chromebooks. And I will get to that at the end of this town hall.
All right. Will students be learning their grade level material when they return, or are they going to spend a semester reviewing last year's standards?
Again, like I addressed at the beginning of this meeting, last year was unprecedented. We were not prepared as much as we are now for what we experienced. Our teachers, again, went out on spring break and they never returned. So what we did was, as groups of teachers, we worked together in what we call PLCs, which is our professional learning communities, and we came up with activities that we felt would really benefit our students. We wanted it to be meaningful, we wanted it to be fun, we wanted it to be engaging, and we wanted it to be activities that students can access without a lot of parent assistance. However, we know that this is a brand new year. We have spent the entire summer preparing for your students. So yes, they will review, as always. We always come back to a school year and we review previously learned materials. But we will have your students accessing grade level material as the year progresses.
All right. So, like you said, will there be more learning opportunities than just choice boards?
Absolutely. Again, last year, it was about keeping your kids engaged and wanting to stay in that mode of learning. Now, we have prepared meaningful lessons that the teachers will teach in a synchronous manner. And then on your asynchronous days, there will be follow-up activities to those activities that the students, to the learning that the students have gotten with their teacher. So, some people have kind of compared it to homework in a way. Yes, it's kind of like homework on your asynchronous day, but it's more so that engaging, high quality instruction that they're going to do as a follow-up to what they got in their synchronous day.
Now, will I have to be able to print any worksheets from home?
Absolutely not. We are not doing any worksheets because we know that's not really how children learn anyway. So you do not have to worry about printing anything at home.
Will gifted services be provided?
Absolutely. Currently identified focused students will receive 45 minutes a week during one of their asynchronous days. So that information will be given to you by the focus teacher. But yes, on their asynchronous days, one of those 2 days, when they are not face-to-face with the teacher, they will get 45 minutes with Mrs. Hammers, the focus teacher. If you have any questions about referring a student for focus, or anyone who had started the process last year and that process kind of ended with COVID-19, please email Mrs. Hammers at hammerslm@staffordschools.net. Once again, that is Hammers with an S, LM@staffordschools.net. So please email her and she will let you know where we are in the process as far as referrals that had already started process. And if those students are coming to us from other divisions who are coming here with a focus referral or a focus portfolio or an identified student for focus, please talk to her about those individual situations and she is more than happy to respond to that.
So students still can be referred to focus, they just need to email Mrs. Hammers.
Absolutely. Email Mrs. Hammers and say, I would like to start a portfolio for my student to be looked upon as a gifted student.
Okay, thank you. And this is the last one, Mrs. Butler. Will students be able to meet their teachers in person before the school year starts?
No. Unfortunately, no. They will not have the opportunity to have a face-to-face in the classroom with their teacher. However, every teacher will reach out to you for a Google Meet so that they can meet you and your student before the start of the school year. Will that be in a face-to-face fashion like we've done traditionally with open house? Unfortunately, no. But will you have a chance to meet your teacher, learn a little bit about her, and let your students meet her? Absolutely. And that will be done virtually as well.
Well, that is all the questions that we have.
Okay. So now, Mrs. Hall and I are going to wrap this up by telling you all of the things that you've been waiting to hear. How do you get a Chromebook for your boys and girls? Okay. Wednesday. This is when you need your pen again. Wednesday, August 26th, from 4:45 to 5:30, we will have kindergarten parents drive up to our school. When you get to our school, there will be a team of professionals outside. You will tell us your child's name and who the teacher is, because you will know it by then. And we will put in your trunk the child's Chromebook and any other supplies that have been gathered for them. As I said earlier, your child will receive math manipulatives and other things that we as a school system believe will help them be successful learners. So we will bring all of those things out to your vehicle. All you have to do is drive up, let us know the name of your child and your child's teacher, and you will get the device as well as any manipulatives they would need to be successful. So kindergarten, August 26th, from 4:45 to 5:30. From 5:30 to 6:15, we will have 5th grade. Again, 5:30 to 6:15 is 5th grade. 6:15 until 7 o'clock is 2nd grade. That is Wednesday, August 26th. Once again, 4:45 to 5:30 kindergarten, 5:30 to 6:15 5th grade, and 6:15 to 7 o'clock 2nd grade. On Thursday, August 27th, we will do the remainder of our school. So from 4:45 to 5:30, 1st graders. 5:30 to 6:15, 3rd graders. And 6:15 to 7 o'clock, 4th grade students. As I said in my robocall yesterday evening, we are still waiting on all of our Chromebooks to arrive. We are hoping, fingers crossed, that we will have all of them. But every school in the nation is ordering Chromebooks. If we do not have enough Chromebooks, we will ask you to use the devices that you may have at home in the meantime, and as soon as those Chromebooks come in, you will be issued a Chromebook. So please understand, every child will get a Chromebook, and we are hoping upon hope that we will get them before the start of the school year. But we thank you for your patience. We thank you for your willingness to work with us in the meantime, if it so happens that you have to use the device that you have at home for a few days or so. If there are any questions at all, please reach out to me at butlerks@staffordschools.net. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is going to be a successful school year. Good night.